what I did for this, I put a survey together, right, and gave it out. I also used Google search to find articles and then go on YouTube and find from some videos to look at what people were saying about AI in public speaking. And then I went to ChatGPT and asked for their pros and cons for public speaking in AI. And so I looked at all that stuff, and it was interesting that from what the survey did, from what I read it, and what I was thinking, what GPT chat, there was a lot of similarities. Okay, so it wasn't like very surprising. But everyone, the one thing I never thought about before was the ethics. I really didn't think about the ethics of it, so that was kind of interesting that someone did a survey and they go, oh, okay, that's something. So I did learn something from the survey. So what I want to do is start with the cons of using AI. Now, in order to maximize its potential good, we need to understand the potential bad, because then we can avoid it in order to get the most out of it. So let's begin by high cost. I looked at a lot of things, and everything's like $10 a month, $20 a month. So that some of them, they give you some free, but it's very limited. You know? And so I thought, geez, if you wanted to use several different things, you got to have an extra job or something to pay for everything. Because when you think of all the things like, well, just not thinking of the word streaming. You have all these things. You have all these things that want subscriptions these days, and I don't think, how can you afford all that stuff? You know, it's just way too much. So high cost can really be a problem for a lot of people. Then you have concerns about privacy and data security. Is it going to be safe to use? I think what we find though, what I thought when I thought about privacy, if you're using lots of social media, it shouldn't be any much different, okay? They're collecting all stuff. Anything you're using for free, they're taking stuff there from you, okay? They're getting information, data, and all that. So if you really don't want people to have your data, you have to figure out how that would be possible. Now I think Europe, as far as its laws, is very proactive in trying to prevent a lot of abuse. And I know Apple is trying to do that too, as far as keeping privacy as a high priority for Apple's products. So they're just beginning to use AI stuff, and since I use Apple, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how they will use it completely. Now we have biases and misinformation. Okay, AI is only as good as the data that trains it. Garbage in, garbage out. Really? And there's also this idea of lack of accountability. Who's responsible if it's giving you bad information? And it could be used to manipulate people. So people could make it so that it's manipulative. And I think that's happened a lot. I think everybody is going to have their own kind of AI programs coming out there, and there's people wanting to use it for specific reasons to influence people. Then we have the, whoops, did I go? Ethics and plagiarism. One thing I wonder about is the stuff they've given you, are they stealing that from somebody? Have you thought about that? So they're getting their data from somewhere. How are they getting it? That's one of the questions I have. I really don't know. So I think it would be important going forward that we really hold companies accountable to make sure they're not stealing stuff from different people or companies, because that's how some of these other companies make their money. So we have to think about those kind of things. No understanding of emotions or context. That's what happens when you use AI. If you're using it for speech, it's not going to really be able to connect with the people that you're going to be thinking about using it for. You're going to be talking about some ideas, and you can share those, but there won't be the context of who you're talking to, what kind of people they are, and again, the human emotion will be missing. So this could be a drawback to it. And this is the one for me, this next one is, I consider, for me, the most concerning, and that is technology over reliance. AI is just starting out. It's going to get better and better, and it's going to be very easy for people just to let it do most of the work. And that would limit how much effort and thinking they put into themselves. And I think this will be a problem, because when we have lived busy lives, when we have so much on our plate, and we have this tool that can make it things much quicker, and it can come up with things I can't think of. If I just go ahead and use it, and just copy it and never even think about it, just use it, you think that might be good, but it really is not. It's not going to be helpful to you or to your audience. Now, when we come to the consequences of being over-reliant on using AI for public speaking, here's some of the things, at least I think, result. You become intellectually lazy because you're not doing any work. The critical thinking is going to be lost. I'm talking about someone who does this regularly, gets to the point where they're not putting much in there from their brain. And if you don't use it, what happens?
You lose it.
Or it loses all those pathways and things become more limited. All right? Creativity is lost. And the next two are the ones I found the most common when I looked up articles on pros and cons. These next two were the most common ones I saw. Authenticity is lost because it's not you. You're just up there pretending, but it's not really you saying the things. And connection with the audience is lost. Remember that human emotion is important. So if you're just using AI, you're going to be missing out on things that affect the authenticity and the connection. If you use it, overuse it, you're going to end up being a robotic speaker, okay? This is what you will be like. You might have flesh, but inside, the way you're talking, you are a robot. By the way, all of these pictures, I used AI to make them, okay? Let's go on and look at the pros of using AI. Generate ideas. Can you tell me a few things that, again, give me more specifics of the ideas that you came up with that have used it, other than table topics? Has anybody used it for like speech topics? Have you thought about that? You have?
A bit.
A bit?
I use it for other stuff, like when I was trying to come up with specific ideas of like games for workshops and stuff like that, rather than going through 5 books about games. I would, okay, read these books and tell me the best games out of those books that I could use, like that sort of stuff.
All right. Good, good. So then we could be that way too, using it in this context. But also, like I was thinking of, let's say you finalize your purpose for your speech. You could run it through just to check it to see how that compares with what they would come up with, and do a comparison, see if there's ways you can improve it.
Yeah.
Also, for making outlines for speeches, you can go there and they'll give you outlines. Openings and closings, you could refine those by using it. And looking for ideas for the main points could be helpful for looking there. Considering the topic you're going to talk about. But what I mean in this regard is that it would be best to write down your own ideas first, your outline, all these things, and then go look and see what it says, and adapt and adjust and use what's best. But I think if you think about it first, you'll be able to better evaluate the information you get from AI. Like feedback to improve yourself. This is with the content, what you're writing, and with the delivery. And I'll share even about this more later, but I think the delivery part, especially the visual of the body, is still very limited. I saw not too many positive things about what's available at this point. But for your voice, audio, what you say, it's very good for that. But I haven't found a lot of things that said they can give you a good input or feedback for how you use your body. It's very limited at this point. Or it becomes very repetitious and they tell you the same thing over and over. So you can customize your speeches. By that I mean using surveys and data analytics to focus your speech on the audience that you're going to speak to. Like I said, surveys are a very good way. I used to do this all the time for my speeches when I wanted to know what the rest of the Toastmasters in the club thought. But before AI, I would just go on to Google search and put survey questions about blah, 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 okay? And then I'd look up the surveys and see what they wrote, and then I'd come up with my ideas this way. This way it's a little quicker, you know? So you can save time. Data analysis would be the age of people, the professions. I don't know if sex would be a good one anymore because there are so many options. But anything that you can think of, their education, whatever these things, if that would be helpful for what you're going to share, you could analyze it that way. So you can access it 24/7, right? You don't have to wait on someone. So you get it. So that's a plus for it. And I think this, and we said this already, people really like this, it saves time. And I think the better you get at using it, it even becomes more effective and you use even less time. And I said, as AI programs and tools develop, they'll get better and better as well. And you will get better at the prompts to use to get the answers we want. So that would be very helpful. Now, have you guys thought of anything, that's all the negatives I could think of the cons. Can you think of anything else that would be?
There's one more negative. It requires a lot of power for the server. So
Okay.
they said that they are emitting a lot of CO2 with the server farms.
So all the stuff we say from everything else so far is now you being used for AI, right? So yeah, that's a big concern. I saw that too.
I would add a few things. I've actually spent probably 20 hours on topics about AI, but it's the Watson X AI, which belongs to IBM, but AI in general, it discriminates. AI discriminates, and one of the challenges is to actually make it not to discriminate.
Yeah.
For example, if you, in terms of HR, because that's the first field it was actually used for, it picks up statistics of ethnies who have certain jobs. So if a certain ethnic, I won't give any name, ethnicity, sorry, applies for a job, it says immediately it's not good for the job because it checks the statistics.
Yeah.
So it doesn't know it discriminates.
Yeah.
It's quite a challenge to actually make it not to discriminate.
And I actually had said bias, but I never just talked about it. That whoever's programmer bringing the information together, if that information has bias that they're using to train it, then it's going to have that bias. But I think there are people that want it to be biased. Like I said, they're trying to influence people in a certain way. So that's when we have to be discerning about the tools we use. And I think there's going to be more and more and more tools because people will see they won't like what's out there, or they want us to have a little specialty type of thing, a specialist AI thing. And that's especially with this public speaking, this one company, Udly, that's how they started. They just had this idea, they wanted to help, and here's a very niche product, not very many of them out there. So that's how they got started with it. Now let's go on to my suggestions for you with how we can, so you have the cons and the pros. What can we do to maximize the benefit and how we use it? And I would like you to consider this idea. Think of your AI tools as a digital mentor. When you have a mentor, a real person mentor, they don't tell you things and then they use it. They tell you stuff as what they're doing, and then you give them suggestions. So it puts it in that perspective, is that you use your AI tools as mentor. They're trying to help you to do better, give you more ideas, to be a little bit more creative on things maybe you didn't think about. Now, I don't think it's wrong if you have no idea, no clue to what you want to do, to go search for it. But I think the best thing to do is to write down your own stuff first, then use AI, because that's what you do in a normal mentoring relationship. If I was mentoring people and they'd come up to me and say, give me this, I would be like, what? You show me what you put together, then I'll give you suggestions. So I think that's a good way of doing it. So we can have it help us to create written content, to improving our delivery, and creating images. So let's look at each one of these. For creating written content, the speech topic ideas, talked about earlier, audience analysis, and I showed the survey. Here's a survey I did. See the question, find out what the pros and cons of using AI in public speaking. I did like 3 or 4 questions in there to see if I get different results. Like, find out about what people think are the benefits of AI in public speaking. What are the drawbacks? You know, so I was doing a couple of different ones and to get different answers, see if I got different answers. And guess what? I found I also did a survey using ChatGPT. Okay, I used it, and I like this much better than the answers I got for the survey in there. So I think this is a suggestion: is that as you use tools, try to check out several of them to see what's the best stuff out there. Also, you have to weigh the prices for things as well. Refining your purpose. You write out your purpose statement after you've done all your information, get to know your audience and all this, and know your topic, and you want to write out your purpose. Then you put it into something, with some AI tool, and they'll give you some suggestions on how to change it. And that would be just a good way to see if you can improve it. Creating speech outlines. I see it's very effective with doing this. If you just give the right prompts, you can give you some very good outline ideas. Writing your speech. Again, I would encourage you to write your speech first, then put it in there and see. But if you're struggling, you could look for suggestions and get help that way. Now, improving delivery. This is the area I think that can be really helpful, but I think it's, like I said, with the physical aspects of body language, I think there's a long ways to go before it's really effective in doing that. So you have video analysis and audio analysis. Audio is a lot better at this point than is the video. Now here is Toastmasters partnering with Udemy. So what I did, I finally went in because I had to do this presentation. I went in, signed up, and here's how you do it. When you go into and sign in to Toastmasters, you click to make it say those things, and you click on My Home, and it'll take you, and you scroll down until you find Udemy. And every time you want to go on it, you have to do the same thing. Okay? You can't go to their website. You have to access it through Toastmasters because it's free, but it's limited on what it provides for free. I was bummed. This is what mine looked like when I opened it up. What did it say? There's no way to upload. Okay? In a normal Udemy, you can upload videos, but here you only can record.
Sorry, when you say normal, you mean like paid one?
The Udemy website by itself. If you were to go there, and I'll explain that in a couple of minutes. But you would have the option to upload videos as well. And, let me just tell you something. You can do up to 5 for free. That's total, 5 forever, okay? You can do that total for free. If you want to do like 10 a month, you pay $8 a month. And if you want to do more, you have to pay $20 a month. Good? So I was disappointed. So I said, well, okay, I'll go into Udemy and sign up and try the free stuff to see how it works. I'm going to show you some of it. So I did my Power of Love speech and I uploaded it. This was the speech I did that had the most emotional impact of any speech I ever did. Talking about being orphans and growing up with a father who didn't love me. And so that was kind of, when I did the speech, I was really amazed at the emotional connection I made with people. So it gives you a transcript. Do you see that little, it's called the magic wand there? If you click on it, it'll pop down below it and show you how you can improve what you said. I thought that was pretty cool. All right. Then you see coaching, 5 things, and then it's going to analytics. And you see, it's deeply moving. So it was, even AI agrees. So you see some areas it says areas for growth. I need a better structure, they thought. Then there's a couple more down below it. But that's the coaching aspect. So I'm going to get the coaching, and here is, I clicked on word choice, okay? And so here's all of the things it said about my words. I thought it was interesting. I repeated 2% of things, But a couple times I would do love, love, and I did it on purpose, but it recorded it, you know. But anytime you do double, it recorded it. Filler words, 1%. And it gives you a list. I'll show you, it'll show you the weak words. Weak words is what we call our filler words, okay? And but so like, well, and you see how I did. Okay? 2%, so it wasn't like super bad. And things you could do better, not inclusive, conciseness. It said I could have been 39% more concise. I found that interesting. Believe me, I didn't take the time yet to go check all that. Okay. And starting with and, 11%. And today it's so, it's many times. There's the weak words. It does give you some interesting feedback. Now on the delivery, what was pacing, and you see 146, and I was right in the middle, so it was right perfect for the amount of words per minute for the pacing. And then it gives the variety I was doing, it's the graph down below. Pauses, it came out positive on the pauses as well, and things that could have done better. Okay, I want to get to this here. Centering. Keep practicing. So make sure you center on the screen. What does it say? We didn't detect you, your lights are on. Okay. What that means, at this point, you use it like Zoom. Okay? You have to be in the whole screen, just your body. So that can be helpful as far as if you're doing online speeches or interactions, or if you wanted to see how you do with your vocal variety and all that stuff, it's helpful. But as far as being able to move around, that's not there yet. So just be aware of that. And lastly, we have creating images. You saw all the images I made, and even that one. And I used free, but you get only 20 tokens, and then each image was 2. And so when you get done, you have to wait 24 hours. So if you want to use cheap things or free things, you have to plan out more in advance.
On which website did you generate them?
Imagine Art. And by the way, all the stuff I looked at that was decent, I put in links, so if you're interested in looking at stuff, you can do that. I haven't looked at these ones very carefully, okay? So I'm not sure how good they are, but the others I looked at everything. So that's our look at I am public speaking. I hope this was beneficial to you. I encourage you, like I said, the main thing I want you to take away from this, use AI tools as a digital mentor. Don't let it do the work for you, let it help you to improve. With that, thank you very much.